Thank you everyone for tuning in to Double Talking with Dog Bite. My name is, Dog Bite. And I've got Mr. James Hunnicutt on this show. Super excited. Always great to talk to James. We talk about a number of things from the pandemic to his new music, all of his music projects that he's got going on. We talk about Whiskey Dick. We talk about, always with him, positive mental attitude. And, just a lot of different shit. So, first, I'm going to play you Raven Song by James Hunnicutt. And then, before that, we're going to have a word from our sponsor, $2 Elvis. So, buckle up, folks. You're in for a good show.
Howdy. My name is $2 Elvis. I'm the owner-operator of King of the Road VIP Chauffeur Service. That's the tour guide service where you take a tour of Nashville with me, the King.
Well, look out now, I'm cruising around town. You wanna see the city, I'll take you around. Hop on in my baby blue sedan, but don't get jealous of my hundreds of fans. I'll show you the sights and all the bright lights. You say, Elvis, take the wheel. Elvis, take the wheel. Elvis, $2 Elvis, take the wheel.
All you gotta do, baby, is go to www.2elvis.com, select your date, put down that deposit, and you got a date with me, the King.
Elvis, $2 Elvis, take the wheel. Burn black your wings, fly oh so high, break open this heart to set free the light. Then just like the raven who stole back the sun, you'll give them the rainbow to shine on everyone. Racing like bullets thrown from a gun, sudden the blast, a flash, and we're done. When we've used all our feathers, our flying days are done. Just like that raven, we'll return to the sun.
Alrighty, folks. With me on the Zoom, I got James Hunnicutt. What's up, buddy?
What's up, man?
It's good to see you, dude. Been a minute.
Dude, good to see you too. Good to be. I know it's been like, was the end of last year? I think last time we hung out.
Oh, it's probably
Or
like
fall or something like that.
yeah. It was just getting cold. Yeah, it was like it was my birthday weekend. I think is the last time I saw you actually. So it was like September.
Okay, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, we went and drove around the Puget Sound. Had a good day.
Got wet beard.
Yeah, hung out on the pier. Then fucking had Thai food for the first time. I feel like I should have got something else though. I feel like that Thai food was like probably the least Thai of the Thai food. I should have went with your suggestion. I think you suggested get something with curry, and I was like, man, I want this rice stuff. But that tea you got me was
That's cool,
killer.
man.
Though.
Oh, the Thai tea is killer.
Yeah.
That's yummy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's good, man. I've
it's
never
good
had it
stuff.
before. But yeah, that stuff it gets hotter by the minute. I swear to God. Like I got the mild shit, and by the time I got home, I could barely eat it because I had all these leftovers.
It gets hotter. Yeah, it does get hotter when it's left over because it like marinates and it's like all the spices kind of creep into it. So yeah, I feel you.
Yeah. So he just put out some albums on Bandcamp, some live stuff. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure, man. I started doing a live archive thing because I've like collected a ton of live recordings over the years, and I went through, and when we were talking about how I've been getting organized recently and really kind of getting my shit together on top of my stuff, a big part of that has been going through all the computer files and getting everything organized and put in places where it's easy to find and access and stuff. And in the process of doing that, I found out that I've got like, I don't know, maybe 50 different live recordings that are like through the board. Some of them are pretty rough, but most of them are pretty damn good going back from like 2004 to present. And I'm just going to start the ones that sound good enough, just sharing that stuff. So, and the first one I did is from, it's not my first show or maybe it's my first show in Idaho, actually. No, it's not that either. I'm totally just have no idea what I'm talking about apparently, but it's one of my first solo shows on one of my own tours, and it was 2009 in June at the Naughty Pine in Victor, Idaho. That's the first one I put up. It was a pretty cool set, like, and it sounded good too, and it's just been fun. It's been a trip going through and hearing just the different sets, the different songs, and how I was singing them and playing them. It's like, you know how it is. We've talked about this. Sometimes you play a song for years and you might not notice that it's changing as you're playing it, but you hear a recording from like a decade, 13, 14 years ago, and you're like, holy crap, like I sing and play that totally different than I did back then. So it's been kind of fun for me to do that. And I think it'll be fun for people to hear too. If they were around for that, it'll be nostalgic. And if not, they'll be like, wow, he sounded so much better then.
Well, it's kind of weird. Like, I think it just depends on where your voice is at, like I feel like mine's getting better, I was listening to my album, People Like You Hate People Like Me, the other day, and I realized, fuck, I sound like shit. And it's because I was smoking like 2 packs of cigarettes a day. And now my voice is a little better because I haven't smoked for a while. But it took a little bit longer for me to get past that the second time I quit smoking than it did the first time. Cause yeah, I don't know. It's just weird. Your voice changes, and it's weird because it doesn't necessarily get worse with age. It just gets worse during certain points in your life, when you're not taking care of yourself more. I'm sure the old, like once you get up in like your 60s, it's harder, obviously, You're guys like Johnny Cash or whoever, that get old that just have problems singing. Yeah.
True. It's like, it's weird. Like you said that you hear and you sound better. like I feel like I sound better too, like but it's for the reason you mentioned. I'm taking better care of myself now than I was back then, and I think just in that last 10 to 13 years or whatever it was, I still had this feeling of being invincible. Like I could still not sleep and tour and sing and play and go 24 hours or more without sleeping and smoke like a chimney and still deliver the goods. And over the last 5 to 10 years, it became very apparent that I couldn't do that anymore. If you're not taking care of yourself, it starts to catch up with you. And now that I'm taking better care of myself, just like you said, like I'm singing better now too. And in some ways I'm better than ever. Like my range, I'm able to sing higher with strength than I could back then. And that's a trip, because it's like 50's right around the corner. And usually like singers, if they're singing higher, they start losing that, like that high range starts to really kind of diminish. And I guess I picked the perfect window to start like taking better care of myself, because I'm actually singing higher, which is weird to me. I'm like, that's cool. See how long it lasts.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean, Ozzy might be the only exception to the rule. His voice did get better. Like I don't know, his voice got higher too. Actually, I feel like
He
around
did.
the 90s, 2000s, he got a real good high range there.
That's funny you mentioned Ozzy. We just did the Luke Swall thing. We've been doing that for 23 years now, and we actually got our first like really, really well recorded show. I'll send you a link to it. Actually, our drummer just put it on YouTube. And I think that's been part of it too, is that's really pushed me, like singing those songs. It's I love Ozzy, and doing that, it really gave me like a respect for him as a singer. Like I loved him, but I never thought like he was the greatest singer around until we started doing that. And then I was like, holy shit, man, he sang his balls off on those records. Like,
yeah.
And
you know what I listened to the other day that I absolutely fucking love is you and JB doing Ain't No Nice Guy After All. Or
that turned out pretty rad.
Yeah, man, that was a song I didn't even fucking know existed until you guys covered it. And I fucking love both versions, actually. I listened to them both quite a bit. Like a few weeks back, I got on a kick where I was listening to both of them a couple times a day. But yeah, I love that.
That's
That
cool.
was such a good duet, man.
It's funny you mentioned JB, because that Naughty Pine show that I just uploaded, it was actually with JB. And I think it was my first time actually playing with them. I had met them a few months earlier. I think we were in Virginia when I was playing guitar with Wayne, and he came to our show. I met him like a few months earlier, but that Naughty Pine show in 2009 was the first time that we actually played together, and met Johnny and Banjo Dan. That's kind of funny you brought that up, because that particular show I just uploaded was with them.
Cool. Yeah, I talked to him like a couple weeks ago for the first time in a while. Fucking what a good band they were, man. The Wayward Drifters. JB's
I agreed.
Just all around good, man. Then you got Banjo Dan, who's just fucking insanely gifted.
Oh, he's a monster. He's a monster.
Yep. That's funny. I forgot that you played with Wayne too, man. I always forget that you played with Wayne.
I do too sometimes. Like, it was such a cool, crazy thing that only lasted, a few months. And then it was like, I forget that too. I'll be like, whoa, or I'll hear Wayne at a show or someone will start talking about him. I'll be like, man, I play guitar with that dude. That's like, it's still crazy to me. It's still kind of surreal,
Yeah, man. He came up, I think he came up right before the pandemic, and I wanted to go see him because he was like an hour and a half away, but I didn't get around to it, man. It's funny because I'll tell you something. Wayne fucking doesn't know how to use technology for shit, but he will never forget somebody.
Yeah.
You can go forever without seeing him, and he'll just be like, "No, but it's just like it's fucking cool as shit." I ran into him at Muddy Roots after not seeing him for like 3 or 4 years, and I didn't think he'd even know who the fuck I was, and he was like fucking yelled at me from all the way across the fucking campground.
That's rad.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Wayne. That's all. What else can you say about Wayne?
Yeah.
It's all been said.
It's true. Yeah. No shit.
I'll tell the story actually. I'll tell this story. I don't think I've told this too many times. And but the day I decided to keep the Dog Bite Harris name, we were on tour with Wayne Hancock, and I was fighting it. Like, I hated it. They were fucking with me with it. They were like, dog bite, dog bite. Like, I was really like, I'm not fucking going with that fucking name. And then like the 357 string band started calling me it. That's like, just everybody just started fucking calling me dog bite. So anyways, like, we were in fucking Lafayette, Indiana, and I was in this bathroom in this like bougie ass brewery we were playing at. And I was fucking taking a shit, and Wayne comes in and he's in the urinal next to me and he's singing a song while he's pissing. And then he goes, dog bite, is that you in there taking a poopy? I was like, yeah, Wayne. He's like, I thought I recognized your shoes. So I was like, that was like the moment I was like, well, Wayne Hancock's talking to me while I'm taking a shit and referring to me as dog bite. I guess I'm fucking dog bite now. I've been fighting it for like a month or two at that point. I just gave up in that moment while I was taking a shit, talking to Wayne.
You can't match that level of official, man. That's pretty official.
Yeah, no, it's like it's I guess that's my name. You don't pick your nickname, so and it's work, you know.
That's true. Yeah. It's cheesy if you pick it. You got to have it given to you. It's
Yeah.
true.
Everybody was calling me Buckshot back at home, and I fucking liked that. Now I look back and I think that was fucking stupid. So I got out of it. I think some of my old homies still call me Buckshot here from way back in the day. But yeah.
Cool. Wayne gave me a nickname when I was playing with him too. He started calling me the captain.
The
I
captain.
thought, I was like, he's like, it's the captain. Hey, captain. I was like, that's pretty cool.
Why? How come he gave you that? He just did, or what?
I don't remember, man. I don't know. I can't be because I was like on top of everything and running the show. I wasn't. You know.
I rode with that guy one night. I can't remember why I had to ride with Wayne. I think they just made me do it just to fucking experience it. But holy shit, riding with Wayne Hancock at fucking 3:00 in the morning in that van is definitely a way to learn how to appreciate your life a little bit.
Oh man, like all kinds of crazy experiences, man. You were talking about how when he was messing with you going to the bathroom, like it's funny because two of the first things I thought of, the armpit farts.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. Like I've done that. Everybody I think does that at some point, but I never seen someone do it like to the degree that he could do it. It was like, and of course, playing with Wayne, it's like, I hadn't smoked weed in like a long time, but I kind of ended up like, when in Rome kind of thing, I kind of started slipping and doing that. And I went, we were backstage or outside somewhere. We just got done playing and he was hanging out with some fans and somebody was like, Wayne, do the armpit farts. And I was like already pretty giggly. And he just started doing them. And I was like, I was crying. I was laughing so hard because I wasn't expecting it. And it was just so like, we thought we'd be having some conversation or something, or or something serious going on. It was just the silliest thing. And he had names for him. He's like, Boomerang brother. It was like,
yeah.
Like the way it sounds, and he's like, this one's called the scared cheerleader. And I was like, like just unbelievable, man. I couldn't believe. And then after that for about 10 minutes, and I'm like crying, laughing. I'm just in shock. I didn't even know what to say.
Yeah.
He starts licking his hand to make it sound runny and wet. Just like gnarly.
That's what got me is when he licked his hand and went, this one's
so good. Like, and I can't remember who said it.
I think we're having a lag.
Yeah, dude. It just went to a whole nother level. And I can't remember who came up with it. Oh yeah. At one point, one of us was like that said something that Wayne Hancock had two of the greatest voices like in American music. And one was his voice, his singing voice, which, you know, and the other one was the armpit farts.
Yeah, the one that got me is when he licked his hand and was like, "This one's the Bocephus. I just shit my pants on stage," and he just let on.
Dude, yeah, I can't even remember what he called it, but that was just, then it was like, it got all diarrhea nasty. I was just like, oh God, what the hell is going on? I was just shocked. It's so funny.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a lot of fun on tour with those guys, man. Fuck, what a great, that was like my first tour ever, too. Who gets to go out on tour? Even if I was just selling t-shirts, man. Fuck, it was so great. I got to hang out with the 357 string band and Wayne Hancock. Fuck, it was awesome, man.
Yeah, those are fun times.
Yeah. Yeah, I was the original 357 string band too when Jake was still in the band.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was a lot of fun.
That was the shit.
Huh? So I think I got a lag going on in this fucking in our feed here. So it might take a minute for you to hear what I'm saying actually.
Okay. It's working okay right now.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's coming in and out, man. So we'll see. Anyways, so you just recorded a new album too, right? That you're gonna put out here pretty soon, or not pretty soon, but here in the future.
Yeah, it's I was in Ohio with some friends, and Fritz from Whiskey Dick was there too, and we were hanging out, and I just wrote like 10 songs, or what became 10 songs one morning. I just played guitar and with my phone, and just kind of made them up, and they've all worked their way into these songs. They're these ghost story murder ballad songs, and I'm going to release the album on Halloween this year, and it's called On This Samhain Night, like the Hallows Eve, Halloween, Samhain, kind of celebrating the dead kind of festival kind of thing, like the band, you know, Samhain that Danzig had. But yeah, I'm pretty stoked on that, and I've never had an album write itself and record itself so quickly. Like, I got home, and within 2 weeks I had everything. It's about 90% done, and I'm still working on all the other crazy albums I've been working on for years and getting them closer. And then this new one just popped up, and I'm hoping to release something before that this year too. I'm just not sure what it is, because I'm just chipping away at these different things, and whatever's done first, when it's done, then I'll tell people, okay, here we go. I got this album done, and on this date I'm going to release it. Because in the past, every time I've tried to anticipate that shit, I'm like, I'm going to release an album on April 20th, or fuck, you know, it never works out. I get done with it in July, and it's just, you know, and I'm pissed, and I feel
Man.
Yeah.
I've been supposed to be putting an album out every year for like the last 5. So I think I'm finally getting something going, but it probably won't be out till like 2024 at this rate. You know,
I feel it. Hey, here's to that.
So, but yeah, so what are you working on though? Like, do you have like a few different projects that are different styles? I know you're working on either a prequel or a sequel to The Last Fallen Leaf. We were talking about that a while back.
Yeah. I've got, let me see. I'll actually run you through the list of what I'm working on right now. I've got that album that you're talking about is called An Iron Age. And it's the craziest thing I've ever done, like style wise. It's, I don't even know what the hell to call it, because it's got every musical style I can think of is in there somewhere that I like or listen to. So it's crazy. And it's also the thing that's taken me the most time and work to kind of put together, because there's a lot of layering and a lot of instruments and vocals, and there's a lot of weird stuff and noises and subtle like pin drops here or there. It's like, you know, I went crazy with that. That's getting close. That might be any one of these things I'm going to mention to you might be the next album I release this year, before the Halloween album. An Iron Age. Let's see. Sympathos, which is a banjo-based album that I'm working on. That's getting close too. It's all banjo and vocals, but there's other instrumentation too. But basically, the song "NIB" by Black Sabbath, where like Satan falls in love, it's basically that that theme is an album. It basically tells that story. And I'm working on a cover of NIB too, the Sabbath song, the same lyrics, but I've changed the music. Like it's going to be a trippy cover that doesn't sound musically anything like that. But that Sympathos on this Samhain night, which I mentioned, that I'm going to release on Halloween. I'm working on a Cigar Box Blues kind of. It's turned into a monster. It's like this weird industrial metal dance Cigar Box Blues record.
That'll be a trip, man. You really are working on some different shit, man.
It's crazy, man. It was supposed to be a stripped down Cigar Box Blues, slide blues album. I was going to make something real simple and bluesy. Nope, it's a complete freaking monstrosity. But that's called River of Close. And then the project, the first album of the trilogy for Last Fallen Leaf and An Iron Age, the first album, Devil's Gospel. Song-wise, I've got the songs pretty much figured out, but I've still got quite a bit of recording to do on that one. But that's one of the trilogy that we were talking about. Then there's this band project that's going to be more metal that I'm working on called Sadhu. And that's probably going to start with a 3-album thing called The Breaking. It's like a trilogy, and it's kind of a mix of doom metal and folk and experimental prog rock. It's kind of all over the place too, but definitely heavier and more a band kind of thing, because I'm hoping at some point to maybe have that evolve into a band. It won't be something that I'll just attempt to do by myself. You know, these other albums, there's songs that I'll play in my solo sets, like that I'll feel good that I could do cool versions with just me and one guitar. But the Sadhu stuff, I definitely want it to be, if it's going to be live, it's going to be done with a band. There's still a bit of work to do with that. Let me see. Hold on a second. I'm also working on a really dark blues album that called Devil in Blue, that I'm pretty stoked on that. That's getting close too. That might get finished up this year because it's more straight ahead. It doesn't have as much crazy stuff going on, and I'm getting close with that one. Let's see. Another one is I'm not sure if this is going to be called Lonesome in Blue or Lonesome Soul. This is actually the album I wanted to do before All by My Lonesome, before my first solo album. When I still had the Revolvers going, doing rockabilly and country stuff. Before I really embraced the solo thing and started touring by myself, I wanted to do a band-based album of like old school honky tonk and country. So that's getting close too. And there's seriously like, I don't know, 30, 40, 50 other things in here, but they're at various stages, and there's some stuff that's not close, but I'd say there's probably 15 to 20 different album things that I'm definitely past 50%. Like I'm like 70 to 90%. Like I could potentially finish this year. And I guess the most important thing I should mention that's more relative to my other solo albums, I'm also working on an album called Crossing the Great Divide. That's getting close. And another one called The Damage. And those, as far as my solo acoustic stuff, my money, those are going to be the best stuff I've done in my life today. Honestly think they're just going to kick the shit out of what I've done previously. That's my opinion anyways. One or both of those are they're getting close too. So, and I'll leave it at that because it's already, that's a shit sandwich of stuff. So
Well, cool though. Yeah. I'll be excited to hear some of that stuff, man. All of it, actually. I like all your weird shit too, man. The stuff that gets out there. You know,
weird is better, man. I like it. It's fun kind of testing yourself and charting like, new territory. It's fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But are you still doing an album with Whiskey Dick too? I heard for a while you guys are talking about doing.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's something else. We've got a project called Trace Bastardos that we got the idea for a few years ago. And we've started recording. We've probably got just jams and kind of rehearsals and bits and pieces. We've laid down one song in a studio in Anaheim a couple of years right before the pandemic shut everything down, with our friends the Hodge. We did one song that we have completed, but that what we're gonna do is they're getting close to finishing Victory or Death, their newest album, and it's the best. It's going to kick the shit out of everything else they've done, and they've done killer shit, but they're working on their best album right now. It's amazing. And I've been there through part of the recording. I'm not going to give away any secrets or anything, but it's just, they're really outdoing themselves with this. And they're going to finish that. And then when I finish the next album, I finish up this year, then we're going to kind of shift gears and really work on Trace Bastardos, putting that together, because we've got some badass shit that we've come up with, and we've just been kind of waiting to get done with what we're doing right now, because we got so many things on irons in the fire. We're trying to get some of that shit done, so then we can really put our focus on Trace Bastardos to get that album knocked out. But there's some ridiculous shit in there, man. I mean, Fritz and I we sing so well together. Like we love singing together, and we feel our voices complement each other well. Rev and I love playing guitar together. Like it's crazy. Like we shred together, and we work really well and together, and we're excited to capture that in a record. So that's Trace Bastardos is what that's going to be.
I love those guys, man.
Yeah, they fucking rule. They rule.
Yeah, they don't make them too much better than Whiskey Dick.
I agree.
Well, shit. Yeah. So, what else is new with you? Oh, you got merch coming up too, right? Or you got just put a bunch of merch out?
I got. I'm still doing merch with them too. I've got Fritz is actually working on some different ideas that we had talked about. I was just down there like a week ago.
Oh, really?
And went down, hang out, and work on some stuff and do some recording. So yeah, you were talked about, man. I think we sent you a picture.
Yeah, you sent me a picture. Yeah.
Yeah, we were. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're working on that.
Cool. So you guys are printing merch down, or you're getting some merch down there too?
We were just working on some ideas. They had a couple of shows this weekend, I think. So he's going to get back to me, Fritz will. But they're going to be working on some merch. I started doing a print on demand thing too. I talked to you about that. And I'm stoked on it because I've got all kinds of, I went full on like Iron Maiden, like there's a t-shirt for every album, and because it's really easy to do. And I've gotten better at photoshopping. So it's like, I'm able to make cooler graphics than I could before. It's like, where I can actually make stuff that looks rad on a t-shirt. I'm like, that's killer. So the point of doing that is, I'm still going to get merch, made locally, DIY for my friends and stuff, and Whiskey Dick especially. But regardless of my financial situation or living situation, with the print on demand, someone can buy a t-shirt or a hoodie or a hat from me, regardless of whether or not I have merch or money to get merch at the time. So it makes that like a 24/7 availability. And I don't have a, closet somewhere full of stuff that, I couldn't sell or whatever, because every now and then that'll happen. And plus with the internationally, there's different like manufacturing printing facilities. So someone orders something in the States, it gets made in the States and sent to them. If they're in Europe, a different place. So that way, especially
costs aren't insane.
Yeah, they're just not getting dinged on the crazy shipping charges. Because
like
you buy a $20 record in Europe from here, it costs $20 or $30 to ship it. Like that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's fucking stupid. It's dumb.
So it kind of takes that out of the equation too. It's like anyone outside of the States can get the stuff a lot easier without having to pay like just a stupid amount on shipping. So
and I hate shipping shit, man. So that probably takes a burden off you in general, is taking the shipping stress, like paying for it and packaging.
Yeah, totally.
Going to the post office. It's such a bitch.
Man. It's a pain, and it's like, and especially if you're just a freaking dingbat like I am.
Yeah.
I'm forgetful and I'm broke half the time, or I'm like, oh yeah, I'll do that. And then all of a sudden, squirrel, shiny object, something else happens. And it's like, oh, you forgot to ship that CD to someone. Like, you know, they didn't get it, or it's been a really long time. And then you feel like a total asshole. So it's like, I still am doing that. I'm still doing the records and CDs and merch that I'm having made, you know, on my own or with friends. I'm shipping that, but it's really cool because no matter what I'm doing, people can get merch, and it's easy. You don't have to do all that. You just get a percentage of it when it's done. You just get your cut of what it costs to get that made and printed and shipped out. So it's pretty badass, man. I've had a few friends that are interested in it. You know, I've talked with about it that are looking into it. Like it's a pretty cool deal, you know.
Is the percentage pretty good?
You end up making a little bit less. Some things it's you know, significantly less than if you're doing it yourself. But it takes all of that out, and you don't have to put forth that money and effort. And if you're cramped for space like me, you know, if you don't have space to have a shitload of merch, that's killer, because you don't have to have, like, I get samples of stuff like stock. It's less, but when it's all said and done, having that 24/7 availability, regardless of your financial situation and whether or not you have merch on hand, it's awesome. To me, it's definitely worth whatever money less you would be getting, because it frees up that space. Like, you know, the reason you have all these people involved in this kind of team or machine, you know, with promo and A&R and all of this different stuff, and is so that in theory, so the artist can work on their art, or a musician can work on their music. You know, it's when you try to do it all like we do that you freaking lose your mind and go crazy, you know.
Dude, I can't even begin to fucking tell you how much I fucking understand that, you know.
Totally.
Yeah, it's a bitch, man. And that's cool though, you know, that they're coming up with stuff like that, you know. It does sure, it's got its pros and its cons, you know. Like you said, I'm sure you don't make nearly as much money, but with shipping prices, man, fuck, I always just like feel bad about charging what actual shipping prices are right now.
Totally.
You know, it costs close to fucking $10 to ship just a t-shirt in America now. You know, it's like, so I still like charge like $5. So I'm always short-ended myself, you know,
and then you're not making any money. And then, yeah, for it to be sustainable, it's like it kind of, and it's sustainable. Like it doesn't cost anything to start it either. You set your price where you want it. It's very clear what the product costs that you're getting, what it costs on their end for shipping and to manufacture. And then you set your price accordingly, depending on how much you want to make out of that set price. Okay. So it's like you call your shots, and obviously you don't want to get too crazy or your shit's really expensive and people aren't going to buy it. But it's like finding that sweet spot where you're still making enough money off these things, and they're still priced decent to where it's reasonable. You know, it's like they're not super expensive for people either. And it doesn't cost anything to get going. That's the real cool thing, is like you just start doing it. Your account's free to do. It doesn't cost, you can make hundreds of merch items and it doesn't cost you anything. And they're up there, you put them in your merch store, your merch page, you promote it, people buy it. You just get your cut that you determined by setting the price when it's fulfilled, when it's sold, when someone buys something. So it's really freaking cool, man. It's almost like having a distro deal or like a merch company working for you, you know. Basically it is. It takes all of that headspace and stress. Like you don't even have to do that shit, which is pretty awesome to me at this point. Man.
And you got a variety for people too. I've seen your store. I figured that's what you were doing. I was like, either he took a bunch of what I was thinking is like, because I know you're telling me you're doing pretty well financially because of everything. And then, so I was like, either he took that and invested him in itself, or he's got one of those same thing, like you're using like a site like that is what I was thinking. So yeah, I might have to look into it myself, man, because I'm pretty low on merch and I've let everything run out. And I kind of did it on purpose, but I guess, I don't know, man, I'm making a bit more money than I was. And I'm kind of concerned because none of the dog bite shit's registered as like a business or an LLC. So like, I don't want it to fuck with my taxes, you know, and they're really going to start fucking throttling people this year. I think there's too many soccer moms making a shit ton of money with their cricket fucking machines and starting to piss people off or piss the IRS off. So they're out for blood. So I was like, that's part of the thing that was the biggest deciding factor getting rid of Ruckus for me. I'm like, I don't want any of that shit. Like,
Yeah, I feel you.
you know, because I mean, we've had pretty good years, but for the most, like last 3 years, like, fuck, man, I was probably barely pulling in $1,000. They don't give a fuck about that. So I never registered it as a business because there was like no fucking reason to, you know?
Totally.
So, yeah, I was like, no, I'm not gonna fucking go to war with the IRS over fucking $1,000 a year. Like, no, like, especially when I'm like barely doing anything with it and I'm too busy to do anything with it and I'm not doing things the right way anyways, you know? So I was like, I'm just gonna put this away for now and figure something else out, you know, focus on me and focus on my shit, focus on getting my music out. You know, I want to come back to it, but just something else, you know, try something different.
Totally. I agree. That's where I'm at too, man. It's all that. Yeah.
But yeah, it might not be a bad idea though. I do like people to be able to have my shit, you know, like, and I do like to have a variety of stuff, you know, but like you said, it's like, it's a bitch to get a variety of things. It costs money, you know, and then it sits, you know,
Dude, yeah.
I'm not
No,
the
it
type
is.
of person
You save
that's patient, you know, like I want my money back.
Totally.
I can't afford to be, you know.
No,
If I go spend 300, $400 on t-shirts, I need to make $600 the day they get here, you know?
yeah, totally. Dude,
So,
it takes that dilemma, like it takes that kind of dynamic out of it. Cause you know how it is. Like we save up $300, $400, $500 and spend it all on this t-shirt or two. And sometimes you sell them, sometimes you don't. And it's still not variety either. People are used to having variety, you know, and
yeah.
that way it's like I haven't like made like a ton of money off it, but like it's doing well. And I'm looking at it as the long term. All this shit that I put in there want available will be available 24/7 for years to come.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. And I won't have to have that, you know, like, oh, I gotta spend all the money I made on this short tour on t-shirts and hope they sell. It's like that kind of takes that out of it. And what I've been doing is you can get sample pieces discounted, you know, like at cost, and you get X amount of those a month if you want them. I've just been getting those to kind of check them out and make sure that, you know, in the physical that they look good too, you know, because you can, so far the templates have been pretty accurate. If it's looked good on that, it's looked good in the physical, but that way I can make sure that nothing's screwy that I'm missing. And also I've got some stuff to sell at the shows. I take the samples I get, take them to the shows I've been playing. I've been selling that stuff well, and it's great promo too. It's like, oh, wow, this is cool. You know, where can I get it? You know, where can I get a different size? It's like, well, all of this stuff is on the merch page now. So it's the long term of it, I think, is going to be really beneficial for people that want a variety of merch and want to be able to get shit that they couldn't before. And also a benefit for me, the person utilizing it, because it's like, oh, cool, I've got a 24/7 merch set up now, regardless of my living situation or my financial situation. And that's fucking cool, man. Like, that's pretty badass.
Yeah, man. And like you said, and variety, that's what people want, variety. They want coffee cups, they want all that shit that you can't afford to fucking print, you know?
Totally.
Yeah. And you know, I'm like, I get shirts and patches, and like nobody fucking buys patches anymore. And I'm always running out of fucking the shirt sizes that people want. I'm always like stuck with a stack of smalls unless everybody in the show wants smalls. Then I'll have 3Xs. You know, if I don't have any 3Xs,
Exactly.
everybody will want fucking 3Xs. It's like, you know.
I never guess it right. It's always changes. It's always exact opposite. Same thing. I don't have enough smalls. I order more smalls, then I don't sell smalls, and everyone wants 3X, 5X, and I was just like, shit. I had these last time. I had them for years. You know, it's funny. You gotta laugh, but yeah, it's tough to do that. Like, that game is not a fun game to play. You know,
that's not. It really isn't, dude. You know, and you always think that you're gonna do great, and then every time you need it to come through, it doesn't.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know. I think I'm losing a bit of steam because my merch just doesn't sell as good as it used to. It's probably just from not being out there playing, as much as I used to be. Not coming out with any new music for a while, and not doing any festivals, so but yeah, it's just so for me, it's even hard to just get anything really. I think Fritz is supposed to be working on a new shirt design for me because I do want to do some shit in the summertime. So
That's
yeah.
seasonal. Yeah. With this, I'm looking to do seasonal stuff too.
Yeah. That's a seasonal's big too. And with me, it sucks because I always end up doing seasonal shit, and then it gets here and I wrap it up by the time the season's over. I'll do hoodies and then I'll go out in spring,
Yeah, totally.
I'm at least it's still hoodie weather, but you probably would have appreciated it more a couple months ago.
Yeah. January, December, maybe.
Yeah. But so what else is new, man? Anything? How's life?
All in all, pretty damn good, man. I mean, it's been a tough time, but it's been a wonderfully productive time of growth too. I'm having things set up, I have my own little space again, and I got a really good laptop now. I got a computer that can do what I need it to do, which I've never had that before. I've always been pushing a dinosaur computer to do more than it really was designed to do or had the capacity to do. And kind of dealing with that that was a constant stressor and really slow go with stuff. And now it's I've got a laptop that can handle whatever I throw at it, and I got all my files organized, so it's almost every song that I've recorded in here, and there's thousands of songs and on these different hard drives I got between the different bands I'm in and the solo shit. There's a shit ton of stuff. It's if it's something that I'm working on that hasn't been on an album yet, it's it's got its own session folder that I can click on, and in less than a minute be mixing or recording stuff on. I've got mics set up on the amps that I have. I've got mics set up on I'm just ready to go. I got a vocal mic that's right over the laptop too, so I can literally turn on the computer and 2 minutes later be recording. If I have an idea, I can throw it at it and save it in that session folder and come back to it. I've never been organized like that. So it's cool, man. It's I've been sleeping better, and I think that's part of it. Subconsciously, I've been carrying that disarray around for who knows, maybe my whole life. Just being this creative. I used to justify my being a mess and disorganized because I was a creative person. I'm supposed to be a slob. I'm an artist. I'm a musician, and that.
Well, it's probably a little bit of ADD, too. And
that too.
And I don't, yeah, I mean, you seem, I don't know about you. I mean, because I don't know. From what you just described, that seems a little ADD-ish, but knowing you don't appear to have it. But you could just be somebody who controls it well, But that reminded me of something that a friend of mine pointed out to me tonight. She's got ADD, and she was telling me that she puts herself on time limits. She's like, all right, I'm going to clean my kitchen in 15 minutes and I'm not going to do anything else. And I was like, that's a genius, because with me, how I do shit, I'm I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to start putting myself on time limits. Don't touch your phone, don't stop, just do it, because I will get so fucking sidetracked. It will take me 3 hours to do a 20-minute job if I'm just at home fucking around. And I do it at work too, especially now that I'm an admin, I'm buried in paperwork. I don't finish shit. I just I get so fucking distracted that I'll fucking bounce around, So I'm going to try that. It's fucking genius. I don't know. I should probably learned it from actually having proper help, I guess, with knowing how to cope with having it, But true. I mean, I've had it forever. I know I have. I'm not ADHD, so nobody noticed as a kid. I'm just ADD. So I mean, somebody can be talking to me and I'll just stare at them and they'll think I'm just listening intently, but I'm in my own fucking head. I'm
Yeah,
someplace else completely. And it sucks. I don't want to be. It's why I fucking failed school. It's why I failed college. It's why I never remember shit. So that's what I need. But I'm with you. That kind of shit.
no, I
That's why
feel
I
you,
don't
dude.
sleep, though. That's exactly why I don't sleep, is I don't fucking ever sort through my shit. I shove it away
Yeah,
until my head hits the fucking pillow and then my head starts racing. I was
exactly.
telling somebody the other day, I'm like, they were like, oh yeah, once I go to bed, once I hit the pillow, I'm like sleeping. I'm like, not me. I have to go to bed like 2 hours before I want to go to sleep just so I can lay there and
That's
get
how
my
it's
foot
been for
up.
most of my life. Yeah.
So yeah, get where you're coming from there, man. For sure.
It's been a killer. Like, I really think that's the big thing, is it's been this. I've never been diagnosed with ADD, but I feel like I have some of that, and I have some OCD too. Like, but I really think that's the big thing, is I've never really gotten organized. I've been doing that. I've been making lists too. I make a daily list on my phone of things I'm going to do today, and if I don't get to this thing or that thing, I copy and paste it and move it down to the next day or a few days later. I kind of look at the in level of importance, like things my folks need done. If those things are the most important, or things I have that have a deadline, those are the things that, like, I really need to focus on. And if I get past those, then it's like, okay, I'll mix on this album. And usually I just put mix or record, because I that's where I really like to let the ball bounce and follow it creatively. I don't want to. I'm not good at it, and I don't want to structure my creativity. Like, I don't want to be like, I'm going to work on this album today. I'm going to go where the creativity goes within that aspect, but I'm going to mix or record something today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's something I don't want to force. But just having all this stuff set up this way, it's pretty crazy. And I've been using a timer too, like not timing, like doing certain activities. I should, though. That's a really good idea. But like, I'll
Yeah,
start
you just
laundry.
think like, hey, like what time, how long should this job take? It shouldn't take me longer than 15 minutes.
Yeah,
So that's what I'm gonna start doing. I'm like literally was talking to this person tonight or yesterday, and I was like, that's fucking genius.
it
I
is.
could totally use that, and I'm going to.
I'm going to as well. Thank you, and thank her for me. Like, that's what I've been doing. Similar to that is, like, if I start laundry, I've been setting my timer. I'll be like, okay, there's 45 minutes before this needs to go in the dryer. I'll set my timer on my phone so I don't forget, because I don't know how many times I'll run a load of wash and I'll forget to put it in the dryer until later on or the next day, to where it's like mildewy. It needs to be washed again. Like, I fuck that up constantly. And now I hit the wash. I'm like, okay, 45 minutes, 50 minutes. I set a timer. And when it goes off, I stop what I'm doing, get it in the dryer. So like, that's been a huge improvement too. But like, lists and using the phone, setting alarms, timers, that's really good though. I've got to remember that if I get into something, even mixing, set it like for 2 hours. So it's not like 8 hours and you forget to eat and then you can barely walk because your legs are asleep, like that's yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's just gonna be focusing on shit I don't want to focus on. Like you can do this job in 15 minutes, just do it,
Yeah,
like
totally.
yep. So that was like, that's insanely, it's a good way to utilize your time too. So I waste so much time, especially at work. Like I just waste fucking time. So yeah, I was like, that's a good idea. It makes sense.
Totally. And it can make it even fun. All of a sudden, it's
Mhm.
like, how much can I get done in 15 minutes, instead of like, oh, I don't want to do this. And you fuck around. It takes 3 hours to
Yeah.
kind of sort of maybe do it. And if you set a timer, it's like, okay. And I've been doing that too. I've noticed I'll look at the timer while like the laundry's counting down. I'm like, okay, how much shit can I get done? It makes me more productive at what I'm doing, because I want to get more shit done before I have to stop to go do that. So it almost makes it like a game. Like, it pushes you a little bit, which I think most musicians I know, like they could benefit from a little bit
No
of
shit.
fire under their ass, and like the normal everyday realm, you know.
Well,
I
we
know I
all
could.
connect for a reason, you know. Our brains work the same. We're all lazy and don't want to do shit and
Yeah.
can't concentrate on anything because we've all fried our fucking brains on drugs and alcohol, you
Dude,
know.
like I'm already kind of like I'm kind of rough on stage, but when I'm off stage, if I'm not singing or playing or doing music, I'm kind of a disaster. Like I
Uh,
no clue. Like not really that functional of a human being, you know.
yeah. Hey, let me ask you something, Hunnicutt. I talked to Joey Henry the other day about this, and I just, I don't, I just want to see how you feel about this. I'm gonna get a lot of musicians' opinions about it.
Okay.
Do you feel like you feel a bit of anxiety playing shows now since everything's opened back up?
Yes and no. At first, definitely. Like last year, like the first few shows I played, it was really awkward for me. Uh, I think it's like anything, like, you know, it's almost like if you don't use a muscle or you don't sing for a while, your voice is going to be weird. You don't play guitar, all of that. I think it was kind of like that. My social anxiety was higher during that time, and COVID's been it's been a stressful thing too. Like
Yeah, it's been kind of especially stressful for you in general. I know that. Uh, and sorry to interrupt you, but yeah, I figure so that probably definitely plays a part in how you feel about it. But anyways, keep going. Sorry.
no, it's totally relevant, man. I'm feeling more comfortable now. Honestly, like with my immediate family, and we talked about this too. Like, you know, there are people in my immediate family and in close people in our family that are in relationships like that, you know, have like or immunocompromised, that like really that was the biggest concern as far as, you know, very close to me, that, you know, that COVID could quite realistically, you know, kill them if they got it. So
Yeah.
that was scary shit. And knowing like once all of us were vaccinated, it was like, okay, cool. Like that felt there was a burden lifted with that. It was less stressful after that. But at the same time, it's that social awkwardness and anxiety that's still it's still a thing here. There, it's still weird to me. And I like at our show the other night, like some shows will play and a lot of people wearing masks. I'm wearing mask. Not as hardcore as I was, but I still am for the most part. That's still weird to me when there's a lot of people in a place and you have a lot of people that aren't masking and as opposed to some who are. That's just a weird kind of, it feels weird to me. And because I start thinking like, okay, you know, if they're not wearing a mask, maybe they're not vaccinated or they're not taking it seriously. All these things kind of go through my head. But it's not, all of that isn't bothering me as much. It's not as big of a stressor as it was. I think things are getting better with that, leveling out with that. And
well, there's a huge
plus, you know, regardless of how people choose to,
there is a huge spike for a minute. There's a huge spike that kind of I think is going to help level shit out. I actually got COVID. I don't know if you knew that or not. I think I told you. But
yeah,
but yeah, I think, man, I really, you know, all due respect to your situation or anybody else that's struggling with it out there, I almost feel like that's really kind of what needed to happen. I feel like if things would have been handled differently in the beginning, that maybe not so much, you know, but there's so many dickheads running around, not vaccinated, not wearing masks, not fucking trying to isolate, you know, that I kind of feel like we just really fucked it up, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And so now I think that's kind of the only silver lining to this all is just everybody gets it, you know, and maybe not everybody, of course, you know, but like the more people that get it, I think the less of a threat it will be, you know. And I got it. And let me tell you, man, if you got a loved one that's at risk and they can't vaccinate, fucking A, man, I don't want to know what it's like without being vaccinated. got it the day I got I started having symptoms the day I got my booster shot, actually. And so I thought I was just having a reaction because man, for 20 hours, I just was in the fucking spirit world with a fever, sweating, which might have been a side effect to the shot, but it was intense, man, which I'm kind of weird. As long as I'm not pukey sick, I kind of like getting a fever.
Yeah.
Kind of feel like I sweating everything bad out of me. And I always have like weird dreams and shit that are kind of,
Really?
well, that's right. Cause I told you about the dreams about the owls when I had it.
Yeah, totally.
I had like 3 different dreams about owls, and like I haven't had any for a while now, but yeah, man, they're intense. And I love that shit though. So, but it's just, I wouldn't want to know what it was like. If it's worse without a vaccine, I don't want to know what it's like because it fucked me up, dude. I've been sicker, but it was weird. And another thing, I've got a really good doctor.
Totally.
And a lot of people don't. And they aren't just handing albuterol or codeine or antibiotics out to anybody because there's a shortage on it, kind of. I wouldn't say it's a shortage, but they're being really mindful about how they're utilizing it. And that guy looked at me and, I've got a list of health problems, but they don't really affect me in a way where I feel really threatened by sickness like that. Cause I'm starting to take pretty good care of myself. So my immune system's been pretty good.
Gotcha.
Me too. I quit smoking and stuff. So I'm not super worried about it. I got type 2 diabetes, but it's pretty well in check. And I eat pretty good and I work out for an hour at least every day, like really good workouts and shit. So I'm not too super worried about it, but luckily my doctor saw this shit and was like, here, take it. Cause I was at a point and it would be weird because I'd wake up and I'd feel fine. I think I was over it. And then like the next day I'd wake up, I'd feel like shit. And then I'd feel fine. And then finally, eventually I was like so congested, I couldn't get anything up. And that's when I was like, I need to call my fucking doctor. So like I did. And luckily he prescribed me albuterol, codeine, and antibiotics just to, as a precautionary to keep me from getting my lungs infected. And it brought everything up right away and it helped. But if I would have had all that, like I could have been fucked, man, because I was not getting anything up. It was the worst kind of like I once had bronchitis and pneumonia at the same time. And it was fucking shitty. But I was able to get stuff up if I tried hard enough. I was just gagging trying to get snot or mucus to come up. Nothing. It was just stuck. So if I wouldn't have had my doctor there to hit me with some albuterol, which I've never been prescribed before. So like, that was the thing that saved my ass, that and the antibiotics, and the fact that like I was saying, if I wasn't vaccinated and didn't have a good doctor, who fucking knows,
Totally.
And they say that variant isn't as tough as the first one that went through. Like they're saying the new variant is soft. So, I know people who got really fucking sick from it, man. Really sick. It got so bad at my job that only 3 people, staff and clients, didn't have it. So they were sending people in that were tested positive but didn't have symptoms. They're like, fuck it, you might as well just keep working because everybody's got it. I was like, at this point we should just quarantine the people that don't have it so they don't get it, But yeah, it was interesting, man. It was definitely weird. I've been sicker. Definitely been sicker. Knowing you have it hits you weird.
I bet.
Like I got some real bad anxiety, some fucking road rage. And I'll be completely honest. I'm living by myself now and I wasn't prepared. So I had to go out to get some stuff. And I felt really shitty about it, but I wore an N95 mask and went out. And when I got out, like I get into Walmart and like I realized like probably 75% of the people in there, and I shit you not, I feel like 50 to 75% of the people in there had it. And like 75% of those people are walking around without masks on. There's a guy in the cold and flu section, literally without a mask on, coughing and sneezing all over shit, not giving a flying fuck. Like the people are around him laughing. Like the whole cold and flu section is fucking wiped out. I had to pay like $15 for a fucking bottle of Dayquil. Like there wasn't shit, dude. It was all gone, and everybody's walking around coughing. I'm like, I don't feel that bad anymore because at least I'm wearing a mask.
At least you're trying, you know.
Yeah, and I got in and out quick, but man, there's people in there they just didn't give a fuck, man. You know, so that was the moment where I was really like, well, everybody's gonna get it, or most people are. Like, it sucks because the people that are sick and could get sicker from it, they're the ones that need to stay home now and try to stay the fuck away from it.
True.
So yeah, man, I feel the frustration coming. I know that it might be like a bit of a tough like analogy of how I feel like it should, like how I feel it's going to be fixed, but I mean, at this point, I don't see any other option,
Well, you can't, like, if people are stubborn, and if they get it in their heads, and we're all this way to some degree with some things, but if a person gets it in their head that they believe they're right, especially when they allow things to be politicized and and that's like, yeah, we really dropped the ball off the get-go as a society and politically too. And it's like there was a lot of dismissal, a lot of instant politicization of it, and dismissal and national.
I'll just be blatantly honest. Our president's a fucking moron at that time, and fucking wouldn't keep his stupid fucking mouth shut or support anything because he's a fucking dipshit, and that's who they wanted in office. So, if it would have been George Bush or any other fucking Republican in there, they would have been playing fucking ball, but they got the biggest dumb shit fucking monkey in the goddamn world in there.
Yeah.
It's like he don't give a fuck, and of course he survived it. He's a fucking billionaire, he had every fucking thing I had plus some. It's the people that can't afford it or the people that are sick that have to fucking worry.
True.
But yeah,
I agree.
Sorry,
but yeah, like what I'm getting at is that that's okay. I do not disagree with what you just said. But, what I'm getting at though is that, like, on every level, I feel like we really dropped the ball when we really should have been taking it seriously, and too many of us allowed it to be politicized in such a way. And I mean, it is what it is now at this point, and it's like not everybody knows what that's like. Not everybody has immunocompromised people in their lives. Not everybody knows someone who's died from COVID. I do. I have friends that know many people who have died from it. That changes your perspective too. It's like if you have someone that that could die from it, very clearly, like this, they're super high risk. If they get this, the odds are probably in favor of them not making it. That changes your perspective. And if you know people who have passed from it, that certainly changes your perspective. And not everybody, some people, it's like, if I can't see it, I don't believe it. Or if it's not affecting me, it's BS. And that's frustrating to me because, to me, it's all about the well-being of people around me. I'm more concerned about the person I don't know's health than mine when it comes to this. That's my thing. I don't want my actions to harm somebody. But at this point now, they're also, I was getting very frustrated and angry at times, and felt like I was just going to lose it at times when I go out in public. And I'm like, it's really important to me beyond COVID, just in every way of life. I want to be a unifier. I want to get along with people. I want to help people. I want to be a team player. Okay. And not put my own ego and wants and desires ahead of that, across the board. That's how I choose to live, and I'm trying to live, regardless of whether we agree, and a lot of us have strong differing opinions about this. Okay, what are we going to do past that? You know, it's like, I'm really glad I didn't lose my shit and didn't say some of the things that I wanted to say, or strangle someone that I thought I just wanted to punch at the grocery store, you know, because my son's worked at a grocery store this whole time too. So when I would see people just kind of gallivanting around, not giving a shit, it got real personal to me. It's like, you know what, you just do not even give a shit about my son's life. Like I'd be shaking with rage at times. Like, I just want to knock this guy out. And I'm so glad that I didn't, because what are we going to do next? The point is that we got to work through all of this divisiveness and all of this politicization of everything, all this bullshit. You know, quit trying to be Republicans or Democrats or conservatives or liberals, and remember that we're human beings, and rehumanize each other, because we've really dehumanized each other and ourselves to a large degree. And this pandemic has certainly not helped with that, you know? So it's like, okay, now what? I've been looking at it now, like I'm softening with that, you know? I go out of my way not to judge people, and I've been very judgy during this time. I'll admit that that's been a fault, that I've been guilty of doing that. So it's like, now what? Okay. Thankfully, I didn't lose my shit and wasn't a total asshole about it. So it's like, okay, I need to be kind and understanding and forthcoming, but respectful and gentle in my conversations with people if they come up. Like a guy asked me about it at the show, and I told him, you know, we had a nice chill conversation. I was wearing my mask, he wasn't. We had a nice civil conversation. That shit needs to happen. And it's like,
it's how you educate people too, you know. Exactly. Educate people by being dicks, you know. No, and that doesn't work. That speaks huge on a lot of the liberal people I know too, man. I've seen so many of my friends that are very smart, educated people just being assholes. And
totally,
it's not how you're gonna make people, you know. Everybody's instinct when somebody says, hey, you can't do that, or hey, don't do that, is to be like, fuck you. You know, nobody likes to be told what they can and can't do. Yeah. Nobody likes their freedoms taken away, you know. So I get that aspect of it. So the push into that is part of why people are rebelling against it. And like you were saying, I got friends on both sides that I'm extremely ashamed of during this. I had to delete people, you know, and then people get mad. I'm like, don't even fucking don't take it personal. I just don't want to fight with you on Facebook. Like, we're cool. Yeah. I'll talk to you in person because I know we can have a civilized conversation face to face, but when we're commenting on each other's shit, we're not going to have one.
Apparently not. Yeah.
So, like, you want to talk face to face and be homies like we used to be, you know, like Facebook doesn't mean shit to me. So I've allowed it to fucking become way more important to me than I ever should have. And that's part of my whole, as we've been talking about, and you've been probably privy to a lot more than some people have about my journey and how I'm trying to change just how I think and feel and everything about me. But that's been a big part of it for me. It's like, fucking, I still stroll through Facebook more than I should, but a lot of times it's just like blanking out. Like I have done a great job of successfully not giving a shit about looking at a post that pisses me off. You know, I'll just keep strolling.
Good job.
And that's a lot of it for me. And I find that the more I get into that aspect of it and start having that mentality towards it, totally, the less I'm on there and the better I feel.
Totally. It's healthier. It's all out there, man. It's all out there, and we find what we're looking for. So we have to choose what we're going to look for, you know, and what we're put out there.
And I feel like they trap you. You know, like when I first got a Facebook page or a MySpace page, you know, with MySpace, it was a little bit about meeting chicks. I was young, you know, but
that's fair.
But it's also been mostly about art in some form to me. Yeah. You know, and MySpace was so great, you know, because every musician, band, artist had their own little place to showcase whatever they were doing and to showcase their shows and showcase their music or whatever, you know.
MySpace was amazing.
Well, then everything switched over to Facebook, and it instantly got harder to do that, but you could still do that. there. And then now it's so fucking impossible to even do anything positive on there except bitch or be censored for bitching. I think are we frozen? Can you hear me? Uh-oh.
For me,
I can kind of hear you. Hold on. It's froze right
it's
now.
really lagging, and I think we're getting close to dying, man. I just want to let you know before it did.
I can see a bit now and hear you a bit now. I just saw you blink, so you must be getting better bandwidth now.
Okay, hold on a second. My battery's getting low. Let me check and see where it's at.
Okay.
Okay. It's at 2%. I guess we can just go until it cuts off. That's fine.
You don't have a charger?
Well, the thing is, if I plug in the charger, I don't think you'll hear the audio.
Oh, really?
We could try it. I tried to do like a Facebook Live thing. Let's see. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You know what? Never mind. I'm thinking of a speaker, little microphone that I used to plug into that. I'm just being a ding dong. Go ahead. Now, yeah, it's charging. Go ahead.
That's funny. All right, good. But yeah, I feel like they fucking now it's like they've sucked anything useful out of it. Aside from maybe just emailing your friends you haven't seen forever. I mean, that's a cool aspect of it, is like I communicate with people through it, I guess. But you know, I've also found myself trying to actually communicating through the phone more. You know, I've tried to stop doing relying on it so much because I just fucking don't like to all that much anymore. You know, I would love to see another social media platform come along that supports art, you know, and doesn't, you know, and whatever. I don't care if people bitch. I just want people to be able to promote their music without paying a shit ton of money, you know, like they used to.
True.
Or movies or regular art, whatever it is. You know, you shouldn't have to learn what do they call it. There's like a special Facebook language you have to learn, algorithms or whatever. Like, I don't fucking want to learn that. Why can't I just post something and have it fucking show up on my page? People follow my fucking page because they want to see what I'm doing, but you guys keep them from seeing that shit. Like, fuck you, you know?
So, because we don't get richer that way.
Yeah, no, yeah, because they know that I'm not giving them a dime of my money. And then even when I do, it's not good enough. You know, I'm like, okay, well, I'll pay $20 to promote my show. Oh, fuck, it doesn't do shit. You know, I just wipe my ass with a $20 bill. I'm like, I'll pay you, but make it work, you know? So then I just stop even fucking paying them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, either way, I'm not unhappy to not be using Facebook as much, I guess.
Yeah, it's been nice. I deleted the app off my phone. I have Messenger on my phone. I've been doing this for months now. Like, so that way it's like I can see, like you message me, someone messages me, I can see it, but I'm not getting lost in all the crap and see if all the posts and what else going on. Cause it's easy to get sucked up in that. And it can be stressful and it wastes time. So I don't have the Facebook app on my phone. What I do is, like, for this Roots in the Jar thing coming up next weekend, like I'm playing Saturday the 5th at 5 p.m. Pacific time. What I will do is probably a half hour before, I will download the app again, log on, do the Facebook Live through my phone, and then as soon as I'm done, I'll delete the app. And then because I got my laptop, I can check that. I have Instagram on my phone, but Instagram isn't nearly as toxic. It's not nearly as real-time interactive. You don't get back and forth. So, you know, commenting with people, it, like, I don't know, like Facebook is just like faster paced and more stressed. It's more going for that like endorphin rush kind of thing. I feel like Instagram's more chill, and it's you know, I follow healthier stuff too. It's like, and I don't have 5,000 whatever friends. You know, I've got people that follow me and I follow, and the people I follow, they're musicians that I know they're not super hardcore right wing or super hardcore left wing. They're not being dicks. Like they're not political dicks. Either I agree with where they're at, or they're just, if we don't agree, I'm not seeing super racially ignorant, super homophobic shit. Like that stuff is not, I'm not seeing any of that. It's all healthy stuff. It's all music or animals or like science stuff, or it's like yoga teachers. It's like spiritual stuff. It's all stuff that's healthy for me to put in my brain, you know, and Facebook, it's a little bit harder to do that with. So yeah, I just don't have the app on my phone, and I haven't missed it at all. I've been happier and healthier not having that option on this phone. When I'm fiddling with this phone, I'm more the times than not, I'm playing word games or brain games to kind of help stimulate things. And that's another thing I've been doing too, is this game app called Elevate. And it's a pay app, but it's like this really killer award-winning app that just kind of has brain teasers and memory type exercises and just different math stuff. What's the word I'm looking for? Like grammar and stuff and punctuation. Like it's really good stuff to kind of feed your brain and get you back up. Like stuff that, a lot of stuff that, you know, I was too busy being high in school or not going to school to retain. So it's like I'm doing healthier stuff with the phone rather than getting lost in a sea of, you know, reactionary social media crap.
Yeah.
So I feel you, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
but it's a choice. It's like
society.
It's like improving your diet.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it too. You know, that is a good. It's it's kind of diet you put your brain on. You know.
Yeah, totally. You got to put good stuff in our healthy stuff inside us. You know, what we watch, what we eat and drink and absorb visually and mentally. That's part of our diet too, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and just in general, yeah, and that'll help you when you work your brain good too, and you treat your brain good. It allows you. It's easier to treat your body well, and vice versa.
True.
You know, I found that the better I treat my body, the better my brain feels. You know, I think that's probably got a pretty big part of why I feel better, like mentally. Some days, you know, but and I think that's why I haven't had so many issues with social media, as I've been focusing more on working my body and eating well, putting water in me every once in a while, you know, and vegetables in me every once in a while, you know, not just garbage. You know, I still don't, I'm not perfect, you know, but the better I get, the better I feel. That's for fucking sure, you know.
Totally, man. Agreed. Same here.
I wish I would have started doing this in my 20s instead of drinking all the time, you know, because I'd be in really good shape mentally right now, I think, you know, and that's a lot of it for me with the physical side of it. Like working out is like, the mental part of it is where it's at, you know, like when I do an hour and a half long workout and I'm done, I feel fucking so much better mentally. Like I just got so much anger and frustrations or sadness. I just focused on something that wasn't that, you know, for an hour and a half. And even if I am focusing on it, it's like kind of like fuel, you know, you use that shit as fuel. So you're burning it off, you know, and when you're done, you feel better, you know, sometimes, most of the time, you know. I think it's not perfect, you know. I feel like when I do start getting depressed or sad, it's a bit more intense now and it's a bit more stretched out, which sucks. But the spaces were between when I feel that way are longer. You know, like I'll go a good month with feeling pretty good, and then I'll have a good week where I'm fucking down pretty hard, and it's even hard to like act like I'm happy to be at work, or you know, and I just got to drag my ass into the gym, you know, and then those are usually, I always make bad eating choices during that time, you know. So
I feel it, man.
So I mean, like I said, it's not perfect, it's not flawless, and it's I've never tried to figure this shit out before.
See, that's I was just gonna say that, like, it's like when I quit drinking, man. Like, what you're dealing with, like, you're dealing with it now. You're not masking it or hiding. So it is more. It is more like deep at first.
And when you open that up, you realize how much of it is there that you've never acknowledged or didn't even know about, and when we were talking in September and we had that good talk, it's like the one thing, we kind of talked about with when you smudge me and stuff like that is like, this isn't like a fix all, like you've now opened this door to go down this road, and that's great. But things are at times probably going to be even harder than they were, because you're acknowledging your problems and you're fixing them. And that means you have to bring them out, instead of shoving them down and not acknowledging them. Are you frozen? Uh-oh. Yeah. But yeah, it's just different, man. Like it's cool, but it's a long road. It's not, everybody thinks that you're just like instantly fucking enlightened, and that's not the case, when you open up that box. It's not fun. I knew it was going to be a road, and it has been, and and it's not even close to being over. You fucking put your shit off and you don't take responsibility for your shit for, let's say like, you give your teenage years a pass. Like, like you don't know shit then, but once you become an adult and you start working shit out, like, so that's, so I've been fucking essentially fucking off for 20 years, not eating right, not doing shit right, probably not being the best person I could be, being angry at nothing, not always being the best father that I could be. There's like a stack of shit that, in order to get through that, you have to take responsibility for it. And it's a bitch,
Totally.
But
it's a lifetime worth of work. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's going to take another 20 years for me to sort it out. And then I'll probably spend another 20 years sorting out the shit that I fucking put off while I'm trying to sort this shit out, so
there's always more later.
Yeah, there'll always be shit. Always be shit. So it's just, I think the thing that I've gathered from everything is that I just deal with it a little better, because I've came to the conclusion that there's always shit, it's not going anywhere. I mean, I think I've just been in like a panic, like, oh, fucking get rid of that. Well, you can get rid of it all day long or shove it away, stuff it down. There's going to be something else tomorrow,
Totally. Always.
So
it's like, what do you do with this shit? Are you going to roll around in it and throw it at people and get it all over you? Or are you going to make a garden,
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, too, I think, I guess, learning how to let go of control.
Big time, dude. Big time.
That's it for me, man. And two, for me, it's like not being envious of other people's shit, not thinking that I'm entitled, or not trying to be entitled to things, even though you might deserve them, is another thing. It's just like, you just being happy with what you got, is being content with whatever you have.
True.
Fuck, man. And this is something, if you really think about it, like most of the people that are in America, probably 80% of them, have got it way better than anybody else in the world, So I've got like debt collectors calling me and shit like that. Well, at least I've fucking got a phone for them to call me on. I've got my electricity. I can take a shower every day. I shit in water that people would drink in other countries, you know, and all that shit can go away at any fucking minute. Our water can be contaminated. We could have real life problems, you know. The problems that we view are problems now, they're not even really that big of a fucking deal. Like people are hiking water from contaminated rivers to boil it, fucking drink it, you know, and people are still living in these situations that are terrible, and America's not immune from that, and the world's not immune from that. The internet could go away, uh, you know, and the luxury of going to a grocery store could go away again. You know, it's all kinds of shit could happen. We get hit by a fucking asteroid tomorrow, and essentially that's not going to end life right away. It's not like there's going to be fucking years of suffering, and maybe people will come out of it, you know, but it's going to be going back, setting the clock back like a century and starting over again.
Yeah.
You
no
know,
more zooming. No more zooming.
Yeah, no more zooming. Everybody's
no more Facebook.
They might get some phone lines back up, you know, and who knows though. You know, it's gonna be Facebook could go away tomorrow. Sometimes I wish it would, you know. I kind of miss I miss is like having to log onto the computer to get on the internet when it was like a luxury, you know. Like eventually you get bored and walk away from that computer and actually maybe, I don't know, go fucking call your friend, go hang out with your friend.
Go
you
do
know?
something.
Yeah, go cruise around, go outside, do some shit, you know. And now, like, fuck, you just sit on your fucking phone all day, you know.
Drive for 3 hours and get to the club and find out the show was canceled or that the club closed and you didn't even know it.
Did that happen to you?
Those were the days, yeah, man.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, no, I always had a phone during my playing days, to be honest. Yeah, so that would suck though. I didn't even think about that.
That shit was real, man. Like, but see, it's like, I feel like if you remember, and we're like right at that age that we lived a significant amount of our life pre-smartphone and pre-internet, pre-digital era, really, and you remember what it was like to just like, you didn't have that stress, that constant, why haven't they messaged me? They saw my message. Why didn't they write me back? You didn't have that shit. Like you might talk to a friend if you didn't see him at school, you might see him 2 to 5 times throughout the summer. Or if you didn't, you'd talk on the phone and be like, well, I might see that person, I don't know, a month or 5 from now or some shit. And you just don't think about it.
Uh-huh.
And you went on and just kind of went about your life and lived and had fun anyway. Like, and I remember ordering like a record or a t-shirt. I remember like
waiting like 2 months.
So long ago, like months. I forgot I even ordered it. And like, it'd be some import thing, like a Slayer shirt that was like rare or some shit as a teenager. Something cool that I forgot I even ordered. And like months later, it showed up. It was like fucking Christmas. It was so cool. I was like, that's awesome. And now it's like, you know, you order something on Amazon, it's supposed to be there in a day. If it gets there in 3 days, people are having conniption fits and wanting full refunds and getting them and stuff. It's like, it's just absolutely insane the amount of like anxiety and depression and rudeness that is kind of going along with things moving so fast, and that sense of privilege and entitlement. It's just fucking ridiculous. And I'm glad that I remember that, because I feel like just not that much younger, there are people that don't know what it's like, that they grew up with iPads and cell phones and smartphones and everything moving like that. It's like, that's kind of a setup to be a really impatient, rude, entitled person, you know, like.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because everybody's important. They got their own platform to have everybody cater to their thoughts, and you know, they can put their thoughts out there to 1,000 people now, and at least half of them are going to be like, wow, I agree with that. That's so great. You know,
yeah. You can get your ego broke.
Another thing too, like one thing I was going to say is like, oh fuck, what was I going to say? Who knows?
I'm listening. I'm moving. Keep going. I got to move.
That's all right. So I was, what was it? What was I going to say? Yeah, I forgot. I was gonna bounce off of something you were saying.
What was that?
Oh, my fucking cat's scratching shit. I got this cat. She's an absolute shithead. You would love her. But she's a bit rambunctious sometimes, and she's won't stop scratching. My new couch is up, so I threw something at her.
That's fair.
Not directly at her, but just enough to get her to stop.
That's fair.
Her name's Boo.
That's a cool name.
Yeah, it's short for Boo Boo Kitty Fuck.
Nice. I love it.
Have you ever? It's off of Jay and Silent Bob.
BBKF. Okay.
But yeah, I just call her Boo. I don't think she even knows her name though. She thinks her name's Hey a lot of the times because usually she's doing something stupid. I go Hey, and then she'll.
Hey.
Look. So yeah, she thinks her name's Hey.
Yeah.
I've been trying though. Like I was like, once I realized she thought her name was Hey, I just stopped saying it. But she still thinks her name is Hey. Like I've been saying Boo for like a good 3 months now, and she just doesn't get it. You know. She's pretty good. She's actually mellowing out a bit, but she was a terror, man. First off, as you know, I'm not really a cat person. We've had this conversation, and I'm in this new apartment and I'm by myself. So I was like, fuck, my mom had a litter of kittens and they were actually all really good. And for some reason, the second she got here, she just became every bit of every part of cat that I don't like at all. Like she's just fucking just running around like, dude, there was a time she would fucking just wake up at like midnight and run around till 4 a.m, just destroying shit. And she wouldn't really destroy shit, but you would think there was a herd of fucking elephants in my living room just because she's just bouncing off the fucking walls. And then I can't catch her to get her to try to calm down. She like hides under the fucking couches or whatever. So it's like this game. But she finally stopped that shit. She's pretty good now, but she every once in a while gets a hair up her ass, which is fine. I'd rather run it off. I think we've got a schedule now, I think is what happens. So when I get home, she demands a bit of attention and she goes fucking crazy until I go to bed, and then she calms down, and that's fine. Like that's I'm like, weird. Yeah, like as long as you fucking mellow out. But the second the sun comes up, she's back at it. She goes in spurts. She usually runs for about 2 hours and then she fucking sleeps for 4. So she's all right though. We're getting used to each other. I'm not a cat person and she's not a person or not a cat that's not made for cat person people, you know.
moving can be really traumatic for animals. Like it can really come out, you know.
Yeah, and I almost took this other one and I thought it was a girl. It turned out to be a boy. And it was this really cool orange cat that was in the litter. And but we thought it was a girl. I was going to name it Dolly. And it turned out to be a boy. And then when I was taking it, I was literally about to leave my mom's house with the cat. The orange cat looks at me and pisses right on the floor. And my mom I'm like, what the fuck is that about? Because they're supposed to be litter box trained. And my mom goes, oh, I'm like, I got a brand new apartment and you're about to let me take the only cat out of this whole litter that's not fucking litter box trained. Like, and I'm going to be gone. Like, I was so fucking pissed. So then I ended up taking Boo. But now this other cat's actually really mellow and fucking litter box. I think my mom's like, I shouldn't shit on her on my podcast just in case she listens, but that house isn't all that clean. They don't take care of the litter boxes. I think the cat just didn't like to shit in dirty litter boxes, you know. If I would have taken it, it would have been fine. It probably would have been the best solo cat because usually, you know, the cats that don't like to be shitting in community litter boxes are the ones that are best just being a one-person cat, you know. Really? And I think she gets lonely, you know. She's getting used to it, I think, but I don't think she does it good alone. I've almost thought about getting a second cat, just thinking maybe it'll mellow her out, but I don't want 2 things. What I should have done is I should have adopted an old fat cat that barely fucking moves and is like cool with just fucking chilling. You know, I shouldn't have got a kitten. I knew I was fucking being stupid. But whatever. We're getting along okay. We've had some rough patches though.
That'll happen.
Yeah. But yeah, sometimes she gets shit thrown at her. I never hit her. I hit her once with a bottle of Dayquil on accident, but I didn't mean to. I just like to get her. And that's she does like she won't listen at all. So like you've got to do something big to get her attention. You can't just be like, no, that doesn't fucking matter. Like it's got to be something loud to get her to stop, or you got to go over there, and then it's a game. If you go over there, then it's a game, and she's running around. Then you sit back down, and she'll start doing it again. You get back up. She runs around, starts doing it again as soon as you sit down. So, yeah,
You need to get a cat fishing pole, man.
Oh, we have. Yeah, I have one, man. And honestly, I have to put her toys up, or else she'll play with them all night. So like, I have to put them up, and then she'll obsess over them too. So like, I only pull them out when I feel like she really, really needs them, because that's a whole process. Like I pull them out and I put them out, and she won't leave them alone for like days. Like right now she's kicking one around. I pulled some out the other day and she's like knocking around, which is fine, but she just doesn't stop for 24 hours. Like, and that's when we have problems with her being awake all night. So, but if I put them away and it's too late in the night, she will just sit outside the closet that I put them in and scream at me. She's fucking very demanding. But yeah, and then I don't know what she wants either. It's not like a dog where I'm pretty sure that usually they just want food or they have to poop or pee. You know, she will just scream at me for like no reason. I'm like, what do you want? I'll put food down. Like, nope, that's not it. I'll put fucking water down. That's not it. I'll pick her up. Nope, that's not it, you know. And then she just attacks me at random. She'll just fucking attack me at random sometimes, which she's kind of gotten over that too. But yeah, I think she learned the hard way on that, to not scratch me when I'm fucking sleeping. But yeah, I'm not a cat person. I should have known better. Oh, and she's discovered, the stoppers that stop doors. They're like a spring.
Oh yeah.
Oh fuck, she loves that thing. It's 2:00 in the morning, and she can hit that fucker to where it sounds like you're hitting a fucking tenor note. Fucking wake my neighbors up. Jesus.
They love those things.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had to start like, and I can't lock her out of the bathroom. Like if Paige isn't here, I can't shit with the door shut because she'll just sit outside the bathroom door and scream at me. Like, I don't know if she does that when I leave all day, but fuck if she does. My neighbors haven't complained yet. So I was worried though. But she knows when I'm home because I can literally hear her screaming. Like as I'm walking up the stairs to my apartment, she's just yelling. She knows when I'm home. So
That's funny.
yeah.
Sounds like a bad cat.
She'll be all right. I think she needs to get fixed. I think that'll help. She's just a kid.
Oh, she going into heat? Is that part of what's going on?
Maybe she's getting close to that area of time. She's only about 6 months old at most. So she's ready, and I'm gonna get her fixed in a couple weeks before I go in for my ACL surgery. So it's done. Hopefully she doesn't go in. My luck, she'll be in heat when I take her in. But yeah, I think that'll help a lot.
Yeah.
But she's mellowing out anyways. We're just figuring each other out,
Totally. Always.
She's actually gotten a lot sweeter too. Like she sleeps with me now, and she purrs, and like she does all the cool shit cats do now, at least. For a while I couldn't get her to like even be nice. Like now if I'm in my chair, she'll crawl up in there and fall asleep on my lap while I watch TV and shit. So like I get the benefits of having a cat now, at least. Like along with anything that's not a benefit to having a cat, I get that too.
You get the whole deal, man. Cats give you the whole spectrum.
Well, and another thing too is she's really great about using her litter box though. She's never pissed her shit. Like now, my luck, she'll go piss someplace, but she's never pissed her shit on my floor ever.
See, that's
she kicks her litter everywhere, which is fine. I'm like, whatever, at least you're using your box,
Yeah.
But she's never pissed her shit on the floor. She's been great. And up until recently, she's never tore my shit up, but she is fucking my new couch up, which is a problem. But I could she needs some other stuff. She's got her scratching post isn't that nice. And that's another thing too. I want to get her a house, but it's like a bit much for me right now. Like $100 for a cat house is it's hard to pull the trigger on that when you're fucking not sure if you're gonna have enough money for groceries for the week, for gas money. But yeah, you're a cat man, aren't you?
Yeah, I just love them all, but I was more of a cat person than a dog person for most of my life, and just in the last probably 5, 6, 7 years since David got the golden retrievers that he has, we've really become a dog family too. But yeah, I love them both. I'm a total cat person and dog person. I love them
Golden
both.
retrievers are really sweet dogs too, man.
They're funny and awesome and sweet. Yeah,
Yeah.
they basically rule the family. Like they're like everybody just adores them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I miss my dogs, man. That was one of the hardest things about what's going on with me right now, is leaving my dogs behind. And it's, Jessica and Mamie are both getting old now, and that makes it hard, and then Brody's, my boy. Like every dog in my house has been somebody else's pretty much, like until I got Brody. And then about the time he started warming up to me, I take off and now he's pissed. So, but yeah, I miss my dogs, but I can have one here, but my dogs are nuts, dude. They're not oh, where'd you go? Hey, folks, we had some technical difficulties, but I was just complaining about how I miss my dogs, so it doesn't really matter all that much anyways. And it's late. We've talked for a really long time, and James's phone is dying, so I'm going to let him talk about his upcoming shows and where you find people can get his merchandise. All that merchandise he was talking about, go buy some.
Thanks, dude. I got a show coming up this weekend, it is this coming weekend, March 5th, 5 p.m. Pacific time on my Facebook page for Roots in the Jar. It's a online festival based in Belgium. I'll be doing that. Whiskey Dick is playing the next night, I think, but you can see that on my Facebook page at 5 p.m. Pacific time. I've got a couple other gigs coming up the next week, which if I try to tell them to you off the top of my head, I'm going to screw you up. So if you go to my website on the Facebook page or my website, Hunnicutt Music, you can find links to all of that stuff and to all the new merch we were talking about as well. That's on the Big Cartel page. And I think that's it, dude. And other than that, just thank you for this was fun, man. It's cool to catch up, and I think we went off for a couple hours. It was just fun hearing you and talking with you, man.
Probably closer to 3 hours, but I guess we had some technical
shit.
Okay. By the time I splice it up, it'll be good though.
That's cool.
Man, it's always good seeing you, man. And I miss the shit out of you. I need to hopefully we'll get to see you next weekend. It'll be good for me.
Likewise, dude.
Yeah, we need to take another trip sometime too, man.
I agree. Let's make that happen. If we see each other next weekend, let's just set a date for that. We can figure out the next time we'll get together and do that.
Yeah, man.
Like that.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd almost like even be down to like maybe do 2-3 days of touring someplace,
I'm killer, dude. Let's do a short run together, man. That'd be a blast. Been ages.
Yeah, man. Fucking dude, Montana's calling me right now for some reason too. I don't know. I don't know if I'll be able to get out there as soon as I want to. But anyways, we'll talk about it later. We'll think about it. And I know Montana has been calling me hard. It's been a while since I've been there, and there's something that's drawn me to Montana lately. So,
dude, literally today, a friend of mine posted a memory from a show it did like 4 years ago there, and it was a badass show. That was like this morning when I woke up. She had tagged me to like this memory thing, and I was like, damn, I need to get back there. Like Montana for the longest time might be my favorite state to play away from home.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel you, dude. Let's
and it's not always the same as it used to be, but it's still always really good, and it always offers something new and interesting every time you go there. It's like
agreed.
Sometimes it's not as good as the last time you went, and it's probably never going to be as great as it was during Section 86 days or Farmageddon days, but every time I go there, there's something else, and it's just the land too, you know. So it's been calling me. So, but yeah, we'll talk. We'll figure something out, even if we just stick around here. So, but man, it was good seeing you.
Likewise, buddy. I love you, man.
All right, I love you too, buddy. I'll see you later.
I'll see you next weekend.
All right, bye. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to Double Talking with Dogbite, and thanks to James Hunnicutt for being on the show. Usually at this point in time, I tell you guys who's going to be the next guest, but I don't really know yet. As a matter of fact, I think we're going to take a bye week this week. I'm heading to Seattle to actually see James, as we stated in the interview, and I'm gonna go watch the Circle Jerks, hang out with my kid, but I will be returning. Maybe I'll do 2 for you guys, but I don't know who's gonna be on yet. Talked to a couple people. Talked to Rachel Brooke, talked to Kimbo from Absinthe Rose. I've talked to a few people, so but I think I'm going to take most of this week to focus on getting another episode of Useless and Alone done. I just recorded another episode of Matt Mark's podcast tonight as well. So if you guys enjoy wrestling, go check that out. And be looking for the next part to the Rise and Fall of Ruckus. I'm diving into Ruckus and the Boonies, telling some of the great stories about the behind the scenes happenings there and the ups and downs of doing all of that. So that's what I'm focused on now. But I will be back with another episode soon. I promise you guys. Just not enough time this weekend. All right. Thank you guys all for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week.
Early one morning, the wind started playing my song. A tune so inviting, I began to sing along. Well, it was 20 years ago that day. I packed up my bags and went on my way, and you should thank me, dear, for saving you from my pain. Have you heard the tales of how a soul can burn when we go against the ways of love to learn? Well, it was 20 years ago that day. I packed up my bags and went on my way, and you should thank me, dear, for saving you from my pain. Have you heard the tales of how a soul can burn when we go against the ways of love to learn? Yeah, it was 20 years ago that day. I packed up my bags and went on my way, and you should thank me, dear, for saving you from my pain.